right? We understand it.
It's backwards. Foundation should be on the bottom.
Well, this is going to be made up of members, okay? But I'm making a point here about how we use terms, okay? So, in the animal kingdom, you don't only have these kinds of animals. You have bears, you have a fox, you have a squirrel, you have a snake, all kinds of animals make up the animal kingdom, right? And we could say that about living creatures of the heavenly realm. There's just all kinds of them. But then there are the kinds, okay? Phylum, chordata. What's chordata?
Not good.
Have it.
Spine.
Backbone. Backbone. They got a backbone. Spine. Even the snake has a spine. Right?
So do you. So do humans.
I can't.
So the humans.
So do humans.
So it's human, yeah. Mammalia. Mammals. So you get rid of the reptile. Right? So that's a class. Order.
It's a carnivore.
Carnivores. Meat eaters. Jeremy's a meat eater. He'll tell you that. I'm a carnivore. I don't like vegetables. Except French fries. Family. Ursidae. What's the big bear constellation? Ursa Major. Small bear. Ursa Minor. Okay? But that's the family. And you've got grizzly and black and panda. And you have the genus, that's just Ursus. Species, Ursus arctos. Arctic, that's a polar bear, isn't it? Okay. But notice that the panda stands out here, and it'd been nice if it had come on down here. Okay. But you see how it's broken down. Here's a question. Since we're concentrating on bears, how many bears did Noah have to take on the ark to have bears on the ark?
Two of each kind.
Male or female.
Two of every kind. Two of every kind except birds of the air and queen.
Okay. You just had to take two, right? You had to take two, because from those two could come through, from this family here, could come all of these through microevolution, okay? Not macro, not a fox becoming a bear, but through microevolution, the different genus and species. That's why you have polar bears up north. If this bear goes up north, okay, and a male and a female, they go up north and they breed and interbreed and interbreed. Eventually they're going to produce maybe a polar bear. Pandas are in the east, right? Koalas are in Australia. Microevolution, no problem with that. Why do we have white people, black people, yellow people?
Babylon.
Because of that very same concept. What?
I disagree with you.
Well, you can disagree all you want to.
I know.
Won't make you right. You can disagree all
It
you want
doesn't
to.
necessarily make you right either. I disagree.
Huh?
It doesn't necessarily make you correct either. I don't agree in any shape or form with evolution.
Microevolution.
That's just adapting to your surroundings.
Right. And that's what they did. And that's what they do. You don't have a change in, you don't have apes becoming human beings. You don't have apes becoming bears. You don't have anything of that nature. But within the order or the family, especially the family, as they spread out then on the earth, you have these different varieties take shape. That's why Australia is so unique. They got all these animals there. After the separation, it probably takes place in Genesis chapter 11, at the time of Peleg. Okay? So, how many members of the bear family would Noah have to take on the ark for bears to be represented in the ark? Bear family, not bear species. Bear family. Two? Two. Okay. Well, why did he take 7 pairs? Is Bobby all right? She's sick? Okay, all right. So, why did Noah, why was he commanded to take 7 of the clean animals? Why was he commanded to take 7 pairs of clean animals?
Sorry, guys.
Okay, you can look that up later. So, this is the crux of where we were going. Talking about, again, the creation of angels. Trying to get that formulated in our minds. That the creation of this universe is based on a plan. Is it unreasonable to believe that such a plan is based on the spiritual realm, just as the creation of man was based on what? Let us make man in our own image. Was the rest of the universe based on a plan from the spiritual realm? Is it unreasonable to believe that? Okay. Genesis chapter 1, verse 24, and God said, now this is different than verse 26, isn't it? And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures. And what were those angels and all called in heaven? Living creatures. According to their kinds, livestock, creeping things, and beasts of the earth, according to their kinds. And it was so. So here's a question that Lance is going to pose eventually. Are there animals in heaven? Are there going to be animals in heaven? What do we know? If this is true, if this is the case, that the animal realm is based on what was in heaven. As I showed you that picture of the cherubim, 4 faces, the seraphim, serpent-like being. You understand what I'm saying? Is that evidence that there will be animals in heaven? No, that's not evidence that there will be animals in heaven, but what that is evidence that what is on earth was patterned after things in heaven. And that's as far as I can see and say. Does that?
Animals don't have spirits that we know of.
Right.
But we don't know that.
But we don't know.
It's not meant for us to know.
Oh,
Animals were created first. Animals were created before man. Man was created in the image of God as the caretaker of the animals. I don't see that in heaven from what we, there's a lot to wrap your head around.
and that's why I'm just trying to.
And if we were meant to know, we would have been told.
But for people, people to say, well, Mark Twain said, well, there's got to be, animals in heaven because dogs are more faithful than human beings. And something along that lines, what's the old name that they give dogs? Fido, right? Right, because Fido means faithful. The dog is faithful. He's more faithful than any human being out there. Well, some of them are. Danny doesn't agree, but that's the con. There's again putting animals in terms of human beings and human beings in terms of animals. But the key thing is the evidence that the Scripture gives us. Let's learn to put it in the proper places and understanding what's going on, rather than taking something and developing a whole, I saw an ox face and a lion face and an eagle face. There must be animals in heaven. No, the animals here most likely are created on a pattern that's up there, but we don't know that there's going to be animals. We know that there are going to be cherubim there because the Bible tells us there are going to be cherubim there.
And it is described.
But in terms that we as human beings can understand. That face on the cherubim that looks like an ox, okay, or a cow, that's what a cow looks like here. Because we don't know what. That's for our understanding. Just that, did I confuse? Karen's got that bewildered look on her
I'll
face.
be okay.
She'll talk to me later about it.
The Lord
But you
praise.
understand where I'm coming from and just trying. You have evidence, just look at the evidence, okay? Draw the conclusions from the evidence. Where does it lead? Animals in heaven? There's no evidence there, okay? Because that's reflecting, that's telling us what is there in terms of what is here. But is what here based upon what's there with something different? That I can say for sure, yes.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Oh, yeah. And all three of those phrases that are in there, everything, all three of those things, on earth as is in heaven. That's what we're to strive for, even though that it's not going to happen, because we know that this world is suited for destruction. But that's what we are trying for. Okay. Hallowed be your name. on earth as it is in heaven.
The Lord's
That's
Prayer.
how we live and worship to serve God, okay? And your will be done on earth as it is in
Thy will,
heaven.
thy will.
I think the important part is not everything we've been talking about species-wise and all, but the order, God, angels, creation, man. You know, it would be easy to dwell on the wrong concept here, which would be, how many bears does it take to make the world of bears, but the order is the
And
important
that's
thing.
probably something that I didn't hit enough on, because what I talked about, Colossians 3, families in heaven, are there orders of angels? We know there are orders of angels. How do we know that? Because some angels are archangels. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of like the centurions over 100 men. Well, how many angels is an archangel over? We don't know, but he's a foremost angel. So they have those orders. Are there families? Different classifications? Yeah, you have cherubim, you have seraphim, you have angels, you have archangels. I'm still trying to figure out about the 24 elders.
They have choice also. They have
Free
choice also.
will. Free will, yes.
Which gives you the good angel and bad angel.
Satan
In
was
our
a
mind.
cherubim. Satan was a cherubim standing before the throne of God and made a bad choice. Forever condemned. But do you understand about what I'm saying about families in heaven? Now we have these families of creatures on earth, but human family, we're meant to be God's family. God designed us, created us to be His family here
That's why
on
we're a
earth.
church family. That's why we're a church family.
Well, that's the called out. We're reclaimed from those who have rebelled because we rebelled against God. We rebelled against. Now, I'd rather be like the world. I'd rather do Satan's will. Okay? And it was, oh, wait a minute. I'm created in the image of God. I want to go to heaven. I don't want to go where Satan's going. So we're reclaimed. We're called out of darkness into the light. I want to be like Him. And see, now we're back in the family of God, the household of God, and all those things that the Bible talks about, the names for the church. The church is the called out assembly. Okay. Any more questions? Probably went a little longer today than what I planned on. That's not too bad. According to that clock.
That's all.
Was it interesting?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's informative,
Yes.
thought-provoking,
Yes.
yeah, and nobody goes away mad. I hope. All right.
Nobody goes away.
Nobody goes away. That's good. Well, Bobby, keep Bobby in your prayer. All right. Thank you for your time.